What is up, my friends, and welcome to a special edition of the XFL Week in Review podcast. Stand by. There we go. Changing my thing. What is up? If you don't know who I am, my name is Mark Perry. I am editor of XFL News Hub, and we got a great staff of writers that cover the XFL for every single market. And what we got going on right here is today, the XFL unveiled its team markets and venues. We're going to go over all of that big, huge news today. But before we get started, normally we have a show every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the YouTubes. But today, due to the special nature of this, I thought it was a great town hall event. This is all about you, the fans, and getting your reaction to what transpired. We'll get into all the news. But before we do, make sure you smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, spread the word that this conversation is continuing for those who want to talk about the XFL and their huge announcements that was basically 2 years in the making. We were waiting 2 years for this stuff. If you think about it, The Rock and Danny Garcia purchased the XFL almost 2 years ago around this time. It was early August. Then we had a year of the CFL talk, and then it was nothing, and then now we're back. And we actually have cities officially. Our own Mike Mitchell has been reporting this for the last couple months. We'll get into all that. But we actually have not only stadiums, but some other announcements that were made during this program tonight. But before we do, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast@XFL News Hub with your thoughts, record an MP3 or video on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. Or also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. Stitcher, Audible, Player FM, Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Leave us a review there. And watch us live, normally 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. But due to the special nature of tonight's team town hall with The Rock, Danny Garcia there at Texas Live, all the XFL coaches there, they're making some big announcements, so we had to go live. And, of course, the timeline, we are 208 days from XFL kickoff. We have the XFL draft in November of 2022. January 9th, XFL training camp begins. And then February 18th, 2023, the XFL starts up. So what we're going to do is I want to get your reaction. So leave a message in the chat. First, smash the like button. And leave a message in the chat of what do you think, what your reaction. We'll get into your comments. But I think first what we're going to need to do is let's go through the official video. Then we'll do the press release, and then we'll get to some other news and notes from today's event. So without further ado, let's learn what the new teams are in the XFL. So today at Texas Live, the XFL announced and unveils its new teams, markets, and venues. So the team, as you saw in that video, Arlington, Houston, notice not Dallas, Arlington, Houston, Orlando, Las Vegas, San Antonio, Seattle, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., the XFL to kick off on February 18th, 2023. Season ticket deposits exclusively available online for all teams at xfl.com/tickets. So here's what it had to say. Quote, the XFL is excited to announce the cities and venues that its teams will call home, starting with the upcoming season, which will kick off February 18th, 2023. The announcement was made this evening by Danny Garcia, chairwoman and owner, and Dwayne Johnson, owner, at the XFL Town Hall event hosted at Texas Live in Arlington, Texas, and streamed live on the XFL's YouTube page. The XFL Cities and Venues, as well as head coaching pairings, are as follows. The city, Arlington, Texas, Choctaw Stadium, your coach, Bob Stoops. Houston, Texas, TDECU Stadium, that will be coached by Wade Phillips. Orlando, Florida, Camping World Stadium, that will be Terrell Buckley. Las Vegas, Nevada, that has yet to be announced. Interesting there. That will be coached by Rod Woodson. San Antonio, Texas, the Alamo Dome. They get football back from the AAF days, and now San Antonio will get Hines Ward as the head coach there. Seattle, Washington will have Lumen Field and head coach Jim Haslett. St. Louis, Cacaw, well, maybe it's the Cacaw. We assume it's the Cacaw is the law. St. Louis, their team is back at the Dome. Anthony Beck is the head coach there. And then Washington, D.C. at Audi Field. Will the D.C. Defenders return? We don't know. Reggie Barlow is the coach there. Beginning tonight, fans can go to xfl.com/tickets to reserve their season tickets, which will provide them with early access to their seats and purchase tickets before the general public. Cool. Quote, we had a clear vision for the XFL, the values to instill, the diversity of our leaders, the innovation of the game, and how we want to deeply engage with our community so they can help bring this vision to life. Today, our league takes another step closer to the 2023 kickoff as we officially announce where our teams will play. Close quote, said Danny Garcia, chairwoman and owner. What brings a league to life is the passion of the fandom behind it, and each of these cities we will co-create with our fans and build these teams from the ground up so that they represent the unique fabric of our communities. We welcome all football fans to join us as we get ready for kickoff in February. Close quote. Another one, as Danny, Jerry Cardinale, and I put pen to paper rebuilding this league, the first thing we identified as one of the most important elements of the XFL, for the XFL to be successful, was selecting the iconic cities and venues for our teams, said Dwayne Johnson, XFL owner. For each community to join in the rally cries of their chosen teams to support and lift up these players and their families who will be there representing each city, their city, we need to make sure we are including the most important voices in the room, the fans, when making these decisions. We have been working on cool new logos and innovative uniforms that match the dynamic and innovative vision of our league. We can't wait to share in the electrifying excitement from fans once they meet their new, quote, hometown teams. We'll see you at kickoff, close quote. That's from Dwayne Johnson. Another quote, the common theme amongst our new and returning cities is a shared passion for the game of football, said Jerry Cardinale, founder and managing partner at Redbird Capital Partners. There is a legitimate demand for spring football in North America. It is our job to deliver a world-class football experience both on and off the field, and it is our mission to be the #1 spring league in the world, close quote. Interesting, yeah. Also, we have from Russ Brandon, XFL president, we are incredibly excited to announce our cities and venues and to match each with their head coach, many of whom have a personal history in these new home markets, said Russ Brandon, XFL president. Earlier today, we wrapped up our last showcase of the summer in Arlington, with other showcases taking place in D.C. and Orlando last month. We've been extremely pleased with not only the turnout of all of these events, but the level of skill and talent these players exhibited. With our football operations team firing on all cylinders, I am extremely optimistic about our future and the dynamic football we will deliver to our fans this upcoming spring. The XFL will kick off February 18th, 2023 in partnership with its new exclusive broadcast partner, Walt Disney Company, and ESPN. Of course, you can follow them all on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So the coaching staffs break down. You have Bob Stoops in Arlington with Matt McMillan as their DTO. It's like a team operations or something. DPP, Randy Mueller, Jonathan Hayes, and Jay Hayes. So there's XFL St. Louis fans. Jonathan Hayes and Jay Hayes return. Wade Phillips is in Houston with Daniel Lee and Mark Lillibridge. His offensive coordinator is A.J. Smith. DC is Brian Stewart. Orlando, you get Terrell Buckley, Patrick Austin, and Larry Lee. And then offensive coordinator is Robert Ford. DC is Tony Carter. In Las Vegas, Rod Woodson is there, and Tamiko Richardson and Joey Clickscales. But the OC in DC has not been announced yet. We're hearing, of course, that Chris Dishman would be the defensive coordinator in Las Vegas. In San Antonio, Hines Ward is your head coach. Jose Jefferson and Will Lewis are the front office. Jamie Elizondo and Jim Herman, both guys returning. Elizondo was offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Vipers. Jim Herman, I believe, was with the New York Guardians, if I'm not mistaken. XFL Seattle is Jim Haslett. Our front office people are Pat Matthews and Randy Mueller. Randy Mueller was at the event this evening. Offensive coordinator June Jones is returning. We talked about, and defensive coordinator Ron Zook. Of course, June Jones led the team, that XFL Houston Roughnecks franchise. In St. Louis, Kakal is the law. We don't know if it's Kakal is the law yet. We have not heard the team names, but Anthony Becht is your head coach. Anastasia Ali and Dave Bowler are the front office. Brute Gradkowski and Nathan Donnie Abraham is your defensive coordinator. And DC, head coach Reggie Barlow, DT Stacy Johnson and Vaughn Hutchinson, and then offensive coordinator runbacks is Fred Cass, and defensive coordinator is Greg Williams. And DC of Washington. And there you have all of the information as tonight you get the XFL unveils its team markets and venues. Let us know what you think in the comments. All right, so what do you think, fans? Let's check out the chat right now. What's going on? What do you think? We got lots of chats going on here. A couple of things before I want to get to your reaction to tonight's events. Oh, and thank you. Somebody sent us a super chat. We appreciate that. Just hopping on, just making it up while we go along. So first things first, if you head over to the tickets, right now it's not working yet. There is no page. Oh, there we go. Actually, tickets is up. Join us for the 2023 season. Now it's time to secure priority access to the best seats at the best price. Leave a deposit to lock in your experience. Deposits start at $50. It's the same thing as it was before. Season ticket members start with saving off single game prices, opportunity to purchase seats for the playoffs, exclusive season ticket member experience, discount XFL shop access to annual team fan merchandise kit. Very cool. To place a deposit, select your team and click here to sign up. Some ask questions. Let's take a look at the frequently asked questions. If you're new to the XFL, welcome. We encourage all our new fans to sign up for our e-newsletter to receive the latest information, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is just a regular FAQ that is on the website. It doesn't have to do with season ticket stuff. So there you go. If you want to sign up and get your season tickets, last time it was like $200. I think for the season tickets, it was something like really nothing. So a $50 deposit to get your season tickets. So we know the season tickets is available. And also, if you go to XFL Shop, the T-shirts are available. So if you want to get, like, here's St. Louis, you got an XFL St. Louis T-shirt. It's just a white shirt that says XFL St. Louis. Nothing really here. This is kind of what they did before when the XFL launched initially. Is kind of I have a couple Washington, D.C. shirts before they actually gave the team names, but you can go support your city by getting the city a name shirt. Just white. There's nothing else. Everything else is the same as far as, just league apparel. But now we've got specific city stuff going on there too. That's the big news, my friends. What do you think? Cities and venues reaction. Let's go to our friends on the YouTube or chat right now. John says Arlington Oilers. No, it's going to be Arlington Renegades, I assume. I mean, why would you change it? I don't see why they would do that. Paladin says, I just caught the last part of the town hall. Cool. When will the rules be released? JMax75. Yes, that's something that I was interested in. Wondering when the rules, but I wonder if that go. Oh, so a couple notes I wanted to go over before. Let's see here. Let me check out the latest news. One of the things I took some notes about some interesting things, but there was another thing I wanted to touch on that. Let's see here. All right, let's go to my notes for the event over here. So a couple things I thought was interesting. Speaking of the rules, so I'm glad you brought up the rules part. One of the things Danny Garcia had said was fans co-create with us. And I wonder if there's going to be some type of fan control football-ish vibe when it comes to the rules. Will the XFL let fans vote on, do you want to keep the kickoff rule? Do you want to go to the traditional rules? So this whole co-create thing, clearly it can't be team names. You can't, because just trying to find the team names and then you're basically putting it out there for people to already steal from you. If you're like, oh, here are the top 5 names, like you already have to secure those things. I don't think they'll do some kind of team names thing. I don't think fans will co-create with that. But I'm wondering if the rules have something about that. And they were very, you definitely have to go back and check out the whole event on YouTube. I mean, it was good. The coaching banter I thought was funny. Let them talk trash to each other. That was fine and dandy, but they did give up a couple interesting tidbits. One of it is the fans can co-create with us. So what does that mean in the future? We'll have to find out. Of course, also bringing fans closer to the game. That's something that the USFL has done in the past. Set it 2. Does it really matter if you have 100 cameras on the field or 10? So fans don't really care. What does that mean by bringing fans closer to the game? We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that, what that means in the months ahead. I mean, this isn't going to be another 6 months, because another 6 months, they're basically playing football. So this is stuff that's coming down the pipe soon. What I'm hearing is, team names. I haven't really heard when that would be. Probably that September, October timeframe. You remember, now we're going to get into the football NFL season. This is going to be big news. This is plenty to drum up interest. We have the announcements, the press conference tomorrow morning in Arlington, Texas. Now we're not calling it Dallas, Arlington. Maybe they're saying Dallas is the hub. I'm assuming to announce the hub, potentially when the championship game may be being played in Arlington/Dallas for tomorrow, but not really sure what that. So that's also coming down the pipe tomorrow. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. And then to hang out with XFL Week in Review podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as we recap that announcement, plus other stuff. We know that ITL is having a conference call with some of the XFL player personnel to talk XFL player contracts. We know that's coming out tomorrow. So just stay tuned for that. So fans going close to the game. Media content like fans has not seen before was something Danny Garcia, our own Mike Mitchell, has talked about. The XFL creating their own content, their own TV shows. Maybe perhaps that's what she's talking about, kind of behind the scenes thing. We know camera crews were everywhere during this filming of this stuff. Also, The Rock said something that was interesting too, and I think it's another slogan once we get past the 54-man thing, which I am fine with. People are complaining about it, and it's like, yeah, because you follow the league, and everywhere he goes, he says it. But when he's going to different places, clearly it's a new place. He's going to say it. Relax, it's not that big of a deal. Fans watch football. They can experience the XFL. That, I thought, was a real interesting quote from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Fans watch football. They will experience the XFL. I really liked that one as well. All right, back to the chat. Let's see. Atlas says, The Rock says fans will have more control. Is very exciting. Yeah, I hope that's not just, fluff, but actually, what does that mean? We'll have to find out as we go down. So fans having some control. That's why I'm thinking maybe it has to do with the rules. Hey, if you're watching this live stream right now, we just went over the locations. We'll do that again in a little bit. Smash that like button. Give us a like. Spread the word about the things. Paladin says, I didn't hear about the venues. No, the venues are in there. We'll go over the venues one more time in the press release that they came out with. Here, we'll go through the venues again, in case you're hopping on the stream now. So the venues are in Arlington, Texas, is Choctaw Stadium, TDECU Stadium in Houston, Texas. So same place as before. Camping World Stadium, Orlando, Florida. Is that where the AAF played? Question mark there. Las Vegas is yet to be announced. San Antonio, AAF. The Alamo Dome, they return football there. Lumen Field, Seattle, that's the same. St. Louis, the Dome, that's the same. And Audi Field, DC, that's the same as well. I assume Lumen Field is where the Seattle Seahawks play. So there are your stadiums and all that fun stuff there. Back to your chat stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, the audio, Paladin says, I didn't get too much of the town hall. Yeah, I had to jack up. So the video audio was fine. The audio from the mics and kind of in-house, I would have liked to have been able to hear the crowd a little bit. The crowd was totally into it. I would have liked to hear them a little bit more. But yeah, the audio was a little off when they were talking on the mics. My TV was cranked up all the way to 100. Listen to that. Yeah, I give you that. Paladin said also Battlehawks are back. Well, we don't know if they're the Battlehawks. I assume that they are the Battlehawks. They're just not there yet making that announcement as far as team names goes. I would be stunned if they named it something else. Fans would be disappointed, but the fact that St. Louis has their team back, I'm sure they're excited. Ralph says, excited about the return of the St. Louis team. We knew it for months, but just as excited now to hear officially. Yes, I'm totally with you. Finally, to hear it officially. That's what we want. We knew this. Our own Mike Mitchell, superstar, XFL insider, has been reporting the cities for months. Now it has come to fruition, and now we have the venues as well. Still don't have Las Vegas lined up exactly. I wonder what's going on there. But we have all the venues, and that will be in time. When they were announcing the tickets would go on, the season tickets, I was like, okay, cool. That's kind of a new thing I wasn't aware of. But then I was like, there's no way it's single game tickets. It's only got to be season tickets because then that means the schedule. So we have rules to come. Well, of course, we have the team names and logos and jerseys and uniforms, all that good stuff. Then we have the rules, what they're going to do that. Where that's the part, I think that's where that interactive piece will come from, is the rules. Then we have the schedule to come out, too. Who's going to get that opening game? It's got to be St. Louis. You got to put a game in St. Louis. As if you're doing like Saturday, Sunday, the first game in St. Louis on Saturday, and then I think the Alamo Dome would have to have a game on Sunday. I think, give it, those two stadiums to really fill it out and get people excited. I think that's it. Ralph also says, call is the law. Spoon Clemens says excited about St. Louis team back. Paladin says Arlington is a curious choice. And Darren says, yeah, Arlington is basically Dallas. I'm wondering why they didn't say Dallas, but they went with Arlington. That was interesting. Yeah, because we knew where the stadium was. It was technically Arlington. Maybe it's to differentiate itself from Dallas. Maybe they were talking with the local people there, and they were like, no, Arlington is a better one. I thought that was a little surprising. I was like, oh, okay, Arlington. Paladin says Las Vegas Outlaws return. Hey, what do you think about that, chat room? Do you think of Las Vegas Outlaws? I mean, why not? You have the IP, you have all that stuff. Going back to the old school version 1, that would be kind of cool. I'm all for that. Will says St. Louis is back. Arlington's a spot in Texas, says Denzel Vance. St. Louis is back. Just hope they name the Battlehawks. That's what I'm concerned about. Do not bother. Do not change the name to the Battlehawks to anything else. Don't be cute. Just keep it. Now, DC Defenders, my DC Defenders. You see I got DC Defenders here. I got my new XFL hat, by the way. DC Defenders. DC Defenders. DC Defenders. I have a feeling that would get replaced soon. I think that's going to get replaced. I think because you have Orlando, or you've got the Cleveland Defenders or the Cleveland Guardians. I just think the Defenders aren't going to make it. I hope they do. I hope they keep everything the same. That one, there's been rumblings that might change. Let's see here. Richard says Orlando's. He's all for that. Cyril Moore, what's up there? Javier says, hey, Mark, can we see Finn the dog? No, he's upstairs hanging out with his mom. He was more interested in playing with his toy. Oh, I got a lot of stuff going on here. He was more interested. If you don't follow the show, so here's the deal. If you're new to us, you can watch XFL Week in Review live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. All on there. So that's when you can watch the show every Monday. We're doing a special broadcast of the show to hang out with you guys, to get your reaction to today's word. Charlie with the super chat. Thank you so much. $2 from Charlie. Appreciate you, man. That helps with the show. San Diego should have gotten a team, not Las Vegas. That one could be debatable. I agree with you, like San Diego versus Las Vegas. My assumption would be that Las Vegas probably gave them a better deal. California is expensive, man. California is mad expensive. And that's the problem with California. Now, people are like, oh, well, what about LA? And what about the New York Guardians? From what I've heard, that those teams are still on the table, that's not going anywhere. Just because San Diego doesn't have a team right now doesn't mean they won't in the future. And I think if they knock this out of the park and things are ready to rock and roll, I definitely think we could see maybe the Wildcats move to San Diego, which is something that we've thought about for a long time. Again, but you're dealing with the economics of everything. I would assume Las Vegas was much more friendly than a place in California. And that's why I think they stayed away from California and New York, because they're expensive. They're trying to save money. And San Diego, they got to fly all the way to Seattle. If Seattle did not draw well and was a strong fan base for the XFL last go-around, there's no doubt in my mind that they would not have added Seattle to the mix, because it's so much farther that they have to travel. And that's why I think keeping Las Vegas closer to Texas and, rather than having to fly to San Diego, that probably paid a factor in it too. But the story is not over. The now is that we've got the 8 teams. We'll get the logos. We'll play a full season, barring any alien invasion, nuclear war, some craziness happening. We can get through that first season. There's also with the USFL right underneath them. One of the things I thought about with the USFL, there's no doubt in my mind that this potentially, as taking players away from the USFL, but it might even help the USFL, because people are like jazzed up. The XFL does a good job. They knock it out of the park, just like it was with the 2.0 version. People are excited. Then they go and watch the USFL after that. So it could help. And then we'll see how, but don't lose hope yet. It's not over, San Diego fans. Just pick a team. Pick your Las Vegas team. That's your team. And then if you get a home team, you got to pick a team. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there. If you're out there and you don't have a home city, in the chat, drop us the city that you're rooting for, even though your city was not named tonight. Cyril says, do you think they will bring back the black and red football? I would be surprised. I like this football. I'd be curious what the reaction with the, what the players thought of it, but like the unique grip to it, it was different. It was a different ball. I would be surprised. I would go back to this ball because it's unique and different, but going to the black ball, if they're going to bring back the Outlaws, why not bring back the old football? That's a good point. Zach says Orlando. Oh, Paladin says Orlando Rage returns as well. I don't know. That might not be a little PC going on with Orlando Rage. Richard says St. Louis is going to be my team. There you go. Atlas says XFL new Twitter post seems to hint at team colors. XFL. Okay, let's take a look here. This is from Twitter. I'm going to retweet it. It says, announcing the cities welcoming their own XFL teams as head coaches who will lead them tomorrow's game. Swipe through to see all the teams who will be crossing paths. XFL coming soon, spring 2023. I don't see where you see anything about on their Twitter about anything about colors or anything like that. Swipe through to see all the teams who will be crossing paths. I guess I can't see the pictures or something. We got more quotes from Jerry Cardinal also on the Twitter. I'm just looking through their Twitter stuff now, retweeting, because we are live, my friends. We are live. All right, let's get back to the chat. I don't see anything where it talks about team color. Jared says, I'm good, except for I'm not sure with Las Vegas. Venue might not be on the Las Vegas Strip. Willie says, Miami Makos. But they're not having a team in Miami. But that's a decent name. Jared says, I wonder if they'll keep the Vipers or for Orlando. That's the other thing, too. or they just will be the Orlando Rage, which I probably would say no. They keep the Vipers. The Vipers are fine. You got to remember, Vince McMahon, Oliver Luck, Jeffrey Pollock, they all devoted tons of time and tons of money into the XFL's logos and teams and all that stuff, venue areas, all this stuff. They've already done all that homework. So I would be surprised. I mean, we'll definitely get some new ones, but I would be surprised if they didn't try to keep most of them. Jared said, so they'll be the Arlington Renegades. That's what I'm thinking. Carlos says the Arlington Cows. That's not very creative. Jared says, I'll say Rage. Cyril says Orlando Sharks. Paladin says Arlington Rattlers. That's not a bad one. Q Wilson, the American Soldier. When will the teams be announced? I'm going to guess probably October. That's they've been following the timeline from the XFL 2.0 era. And I think that was around the time was October. But they went with team names, maybe November. I think that's I definitely don't think it's going to be like next week. I think the NFL is. I think their XFL got it in this week. There's going to be a nice hype train, but they're definitely. I think they're going to stick with that timeline because the focus is going to be on the NFL returning, and then they're going to kind of take a step back. October, you can pop back in and get people excited for the season coming up after kind of the NFL frenzy dies down a little bit. Yusef says, yeah, I like the Rage. I'm getting season tickets for sure. Very cool there. When were the rules we revealed? We said probably that might be part of the XFL having that interactive experience with their fans. That's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes to that. Paladin says, Danny, all you have to do is the Battlehawks return as is. St. Louis fans, shut up and take my money. There you go. He tells you. Jared says, I will be going to Orlando games. I'll be wearing New York Guardians jersey. Okay, you could do that. Cyril says Las Vegas Outlaws. Typo, he'd be wearing his Tampa Bay Vipers gears. Eagles, Zito the Grave, Defenders. That's right. That's my thing there. I agree with you there. I hope Jared says, I hope the XFL app comes back. It was good in 2022. You know, we have XFL News Hub has their own. We have our own XFL app that you can download right now on Google, Android, and Apple if you want to do that. Let's see. Zach says, nope, Camp World Stadium is the Citrus Bowl. AAF played at the Bounce House and UCF. Okay. So I was wrong about that. Yeah, that actually, now that you said that, I lost my place. Then they just had an event there not too long ago. Did I just lose it? Yeah, so Camping World Stadium is the Citrus Bowl. AAF played in the Bounce House at UCF. There was some event that took place at the Camping World Stadium when I was around there in that area. Cyril says DC Defenders. Jared, I thought I was having trouble hearing. No, you weren't. I was the same thing. I could not hear very well. Willie says, you think Miami will have a franchise? Hey, he played at the U. Maybe one day, but not right now. Not anytime soon. Arlington Twisters, Paladin says. Let's see. Somebody said ESPN Plus. It would be nice if ESPN Plus streamed that event on ESPN platform. That'd be kind of cool if they did. The Chi says, what the teams? All right, we'll go one more time. Let's go through. Let's take a video at the cities. We don't have team names, but let's check a look at the cities, the new XFL cities. Are returning. There you have it. There's all your cities. And let's keep going with the chat. Bracken Rim Football, we talked about that. Whatever The Rock buys, it goes way up. BTS Dance Studio. Yes. I mean, I was telling people, because people will ask me about the USFL and XFL and which one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always like, if you had $1 million and you wanted to make a lot of money, would you give it to Fox or would you give it to Danny Garcia and The Rock? I mean, clearly, we would give it to I would give it to Danny Garcia and The Rock. I mean, we're talking about Terramana Tequila. We're talking about, Project Rock, the, Under Armour stuff. And we haven't heard anything about official merchandise or any of that good stuff. As a guy that knows they know what they're doing. There's no doubt that they know what they're doing. That's for sure. Ken says Orlando Stadium is not where AAF played. They played in a bigger stadium. Seattle is still a decent market. Yes, and I think that's why they stayed there. But I wonder if they didn't do very well, would they have went back? That's all I'm saying. But I still think it is a great market. They were I think St. Louis was number 1. Seattle probably was number 2. DC was number 3 when it comes to the XFL as far as attendance and energy. So we'll find out. Ken says, I'm betting they're calling the team Arlington because City is probably giving them a sweetheart deal to have the hub there. That's pretty true. Mike G says USFL owns rights to Outlaw's nickname. Maybe why they both stayed away from it. That's interesting. I know that the XFL, they probably let those lapse, those old trademarks, actually. I think a lot of them did get expired. So you might be right. USFL might own that. That's an interesting point. Jared says many people can go LA to Las Vegas, easy flying. Yeah, but you want to fly? Well, I guess people fly to travel. Cyril says Savannah, Georgia needs an XFL team. Oh, God, everybody needs an XFL team. Like, I live in, middle of Vermont. Vermont needs a team. You never know. I mean, we're just at the beginning, my friends. I mean, this is the crazy part. We've been down this path before. I'm just hoping for 3 years that the USFL, XFL exists would be great. A lot of opportunity for writers and a lot of opportunity to have fun. I'm just looking for 3 years. 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that would be insane. It'd be awesome. That would be crazy. So I'm holding out hope for 3 years. That's all I'm looking for. Just beat the 80s USFL as far as timeline goes. Zach says, I'm from Tampa, but I go to UCF, so I'm good either way. Haas 304 says, go Battlehawks. Let's see. Jared says, I lived in South Dakota. I was a fan of the league. In general, I made XFL watch parties in my hometown regardless. Cool. I was the only person doing that with no teams close. Good for you. That's the kind of fans we need, Jared. And I wonder if Jared did that for the USFL. I don't know. Like the energy between the two. I'm rooting for all of the leagues, CFL, XFL, USFL. Just the energy, and especially with that hype machine from The Rock, just really helps push this league. I mean, the traffic throughout the day to the site, people searching up XFL, wanting to learn more about it, was just through the roof. And I mean, even the stream is doing great. So I'm excited for you guys. Hey, make sure we got 23 likes. And there's 94, almost 100 people watching right now. So take a second, smash the like button, help us, and spread the word about the XFL, okay? And subscribe to that channel. Make sure if this is the first time you're checking out the show, subscribe to the channel. We'll have a lot of great guests coming up as we get to kick off. A lot of, the reporters. We got a great team of guys that were out there. Shout out to, the Markcast. Shout out to, Matt and Brad. I'd have to go through the list. Evan, who's out there. Anthony, Jay Noakes, and Brendan was all out there, at these events doing their thing. And getting you inside scoop and information. So shout out to all those guys. So we got you covered. We're the only one that's got a guy pegged for each single team, which is cool. Let's see. BW says, I've been off the grid. How successful are these USFL? Willie says, Pittsburgh Maulers. That's your team? All right. So how successful is the USFL? It was good. I mean, if you didn't hear, Luis Perez got signed by the Los Angeles Rams. He played in the USFL. I liked it. I mean, it was just there was no juice behind the league as far as interest in fans. Exciting. You heard the fans chanting XFL at the town hall event. They were all excited about it. That's that's just kind of, there's just an energy behind this league, and people. I just remember everything was growing when we were doing the XFL stuff. Each week the interest was getting more and more. Traffic kind of stabilized, but all the other things that there was interest in. When the XFL closed the doors, I had many people come to me. I had just watched my first game last week. I loved it. I was getting more into it. And I just think having that fan interaction, there was rumors, according to our Mike Mitchell, that the XFL was looking at doing exactly what the USFL did, was play in one location, and that was it. And we were all like, no, you can't do that. You have to be in a location. So then I don't know if they were planning that before or they just changed their idea. Just keep everybody in one hub and let them fly home to home games. I think that's perfect. I think that's how you have to do it, at least the first year, maybe even two, because you just want to go to the home games. And that's why they have 3 teams in Texas, because they have the hub in Texas. You have 3 teams in Texas. That helps with costs. So LA, New York, San Diego, all these other locations, don't fret that you're out of the woods yet. Support the league, keep things going, get your merch. If you can get out to a game, great. But eventually, wow, this is not even the right title. As I'm looking at this title of the, what the heck, of this stream. I just looked at the stream, and I'm like, wait, this isn't even right. Can I fix this? Oh, yeah, this is totally not right. I'm looking at the stream like, wait. Where are you getting this from? Let's hold on here. Let me change this. Hey, props to you guys for checking in with the completely wrong title. You got to be kidding me, really? That's so weird. Why did it do that? All right, let me hit save. This is the right title. I was just looking at it now. No one said anything that the title was completely wrong, but I appreciate you guys checking in. Let's see here. Oh, so how successful was the USFL? It was successful. I thought, they made it through a first season, unlike everybody else who didn't. The championship game did good numbers. I mean, I think the Fox was satisfied and happy with what they were doing. This is now when things come into question. I mean, USFL will definitely be back in year 2. What impact does the league have on the USFL? How do they impact each other? How are they going to change things with players? And that's the part that's going to be really interesting going forward. And then it comes down to year 3, 4, like how are they doing? But overall, I think the USFL was a success. It's for what they wanted. And this is the interesting thing about both leagues. It's a battle of business models. You have the XFL, who are going to do, teams, home cities and season tickets, but they're also blowing through a lot of money. But they also know what the economics were the last go round, and because they bought XFL 2.0, and it had all that information in there, how much money they were blowing. And these guys, Redbird Capital, they know what they're doing. Danny and The Rock, they know what they're doing. So I'm not too concerned about that. But the USFL's business model is a lot different. There are kind of, I heard one of the executives use the term incubator, where it's just very small, and then they're planning, in the next 5 to 7 years, is sell franchises to home locations. Sounds great in theory, but, I'm not sure if that's going to go over. I don't know if you're going to be there around that long to be able to do that. That's kind of where I'm at with but it was good. A lot of Orlando excited there. Mark Brennan says the audio on the stream was horrible. Yes, we talked about that. I had cranked up my sound like 100% because I couldn't hear it very well. I would agree with you on that. Ron says next year. Oh, I lost him. I had him. Lots of people, tons of chat stuff. Ron, I lost you. Where are you, Ron? There he is. Next year, new showcases, Nashville, Birmingham. Oh, Birmingham. Going into Birmingham would be a flex. Portland, Oklahoma City, Omaha, Toronto, Mexico City, Miami, San Diego, Ohio. That's another way you can flex. Definitely throw one in Miami would be kind of cool. Going to Toronto would be interesting. We're not having any, Danny Garcia has made mention of being a global brand. The ticket, when you look at the ticket, when people are So one of the job ticket information there for the job to being the ticket person for the XFL, it has in there global experience. It's in there. And there's been a couple other postings for jobs where it had specifically talked about that global piece. So, stay tuned for that. And hey, if the Argos are having bad in attendance, can we see them jump ship? I doubt it, but I doubt it very much. But if that would be a crazy thing, Mexico City and Toronto would be huge. I would probably do those two first before I would go into LA and New York, because that would just be monumental excitement there. Nick says San Antonio will pack the dome, so will St. Louis. I agree, and that's why I think you need to start off, that first site has to be St. Louis. It has to be a packed house, 30,000 screaming fans. If you want to have DC in there, that would be great. And then, because DC will be cold. And also keep, basically DC now is the only cold, well, in Seattle, right? During that February, it's cold in DC. I'm fine with the powers that be in the XFL for your DC Defenders to not play a home game until March 1st. I'm fine with that. So to play that first game, do it in Seattle, in the Dome. You got San Antonio and Texas will be fine with their weather. Orlando will be fine. Las Vegas will be fine. It's just, Seattle and DC. So let us wait a little bit before we have those home games. I was freezing at some of those games. Willie says, do you think Miami will get a team? Not anytime soon. Brandon says, the XFL and USFL dynamic is going to be extremely interesting to see. Merge the USFL, XFL, and 2 Canadian teams. I just don't see them a merge down the road, potentially I could see. Mark says, be awesome if Orlando was the Apollos. That would be kind of cool, too. That would get people excited. Let's see here. Denzel says there's a lot of hate towards the St. Louis. Memphis should have gotten a team. No. Love my XFL 2.0 football. That's Cyril. Can more teams be added? Sure, but not this year. I could see if things are a whopping success and they're like, yeah, just in that off season, tease the heck out of 2 more teams are coming. Tease the heck out of it. People will be so fired up. Charlie with another super chat. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate another $2 super chat. Appreciate that. He said Memphis is calling and waiting. All right, Charlie dropped a $2 super chat, and he wants a team in Memphis. I will talk to Danny Garcia and The Rock personally on your behalf to say how great Memphis is. There you go. Let's see. Jared says Arsenal Chelsea. It was a few days ago. BW says bring back the Memphis Mad Dogs. Jared says Monster Jam was at Camping World too. Monster Jam was when I was at the USFL Championship weekend. They were in Cleveland. Theodore says let's go. Let's see. Lots of chats here. We'll wrap this up and appreciate everybody. Make sure you smash that like button. We're only at 39 likes. It takes you a second to give us a like there. Let's get over 40. Will you, please? DTS Dance says CFL begged The Rock for help. $15 million and no debt. He's talking about that. I wonder if they'll deviate. Let's see. Somebody had... Ken says, host Laura Rutledge said there will be all the bells and whistles for the draft and said something like, get ready, draft nerds. All right, cool. We would love to be part of that draft, XFL. Somebody mentioned, where did I see that down here about a video? Oh, XFL Maximum Football Game is more likely. Jason M. There was rumors, and I think it was just started online, not really true, about the USFL and Maximum Football or one of those things, but doing some kind of game. I would package them all together, have a CFL, XFL, USFL video game. Why not? Charlie says Hartford, Connecticut needs a XFL team. Come on. Hartford, Connecticut. Maybe they would. I don't know. Mafia says, can we get a championship between the XFL, USFL after league finishes their championship shoot? We can do whatever champion from Canada. I'm sure that would be... you have to look at the... this is a time of year. It wouldn't work. Even same with the XFL and CFL. But definitely something like that would generate so much hype, especially Canadian Football League, if they somehow figured out, even if it was during the season and they played each other. But, the XFL is starting in February, then they're done, then the CFL starts. I wouldn't be surprised, because the XFL draft is in November. I bet you I'm be very curious if there's some CFL guys that jump ship. They're playing a full CFL season. Hopefully they get taped. They're getting training. They're getting fed. They're making some money. And then they could be part of the draft pool. But I'm assuming they're under contract, so they couldn't. But I'd be curious to see if some of these CFL guys that were former XFL guys will come and play. Cam Phillips, who I'm thinking, potentially play in the XFL. Pudge says, in 5 minutes behind on this episode, you have to look at the stripes behind the coaches. Do they hint at colors? In my opinion, Battlehawks, blue behind Beck, Viper, green behind the coach for Orlando. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. Mike G says, will the XFLers be disappointed in the league decides to go with new logo, nicknames, uniforms for 2023? I think there might be some trepidation by that. There might be, but they're not dumb. And I would be surprised if they just revamped all the names. There's no need to change the Battlehawks. BW says Arizona Hotshots were the best name. Again, Las Vegas Hotshots. I think Danny and Garcia want to put The Rock and everybody involved want to put their own personal spin on it. And there's a lot of people. Janet Dutch was part of the XFL in that original go-round. So will they pick up, so they know what works, what doesn't work, and the discussions behind the scenes. Still don't know when team names will be revealed. The Haunted asking, I hope the Toronto Argonauts will pick up the XFL. I'm telling you, that would be earth-shattering. Very fascinating if that would happen. Jared says, buy XFL merch and support. I think us buying merch helped the XFL live another day. I think that's true. Jared, I love the ranking of USFL logos. Oh, thank you very much. We did that a while. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Let's see. Dave says there is a primary color in the background of each XFL coach photo. In the tweet, yellow is the only different color behind Hines Ward. And Eagle Zito the Grave says our weather is bipolar in DC. You never know what season you'll get in October through March. That's very true. It's 100 degrees out right now where I'm at. And the Haunted says Laura Rutledge has nice looking feet. Okay, there you go. There. And all right, let's take a look at one more time about the cities, and then for all those new people that have jumped on board. Before we get to this, just smash the like button. It's not that hard, friends. It is not that hard. Smash the like button. Let's take a look at the XFL cities one more time, and then we'll wrap things up. Let's go! All right, there you have it, the XFL cities, my friend. All right, so here's the deal. If you want to be part of the show, email podcast@XFL News Hub with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video and leave it on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. Because why? Oh, and also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. But why? Watch XFL Week in Review live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday. That is tomorrow. So I want you to tune in because we have the Dallas or Texas, Arlington, whatever it is, thing in the morning. I think that's 10 p.m. Eastern time. We have that. Then we have, there's going to be more breaking news from the XFL and all that good stuff. And remember, you got your cities, Seattle, Houston, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Dallas, St. Louis, DC, and Orlando. And you can also, right now, head over and get your season tickets. If you're in the area, I will be doing that as soon as we get off this program, hanging out with you nerds. Hey, it's a Sunday. We've got great news. It has been 2 years of waiting for something big to happen. Now, the ESPN, Disney thing, that was big news, but there was not, and then even the coaches, that was big news. But now we have cities, teams, we can actually get season tickets. There's events. because before you know it, we're almost into August, right? Football season's going to start. That thing going to be cranked up in August. Then the kids go back to school. Little brats go back to school. Then we're into September. October hits. We have another thing, that's special teams, a Nick Novak event. Then we have, I'm sure, teams, the logos and all that stuff is going to be announced. All the different things the XFL is going to be doing and hyping it up. Then a monster draft in November. That should be really great. Could you imagine if ESPN covers the draft? Unlike last time, they just did it online. I'm sure this was a test to kind of gauge things out, potentially what they might do in the future. Doing something like this as a draft, that would be a heck of a lot of fun. And, just things are just popping. And we're finally here. And as Mike Mitchell put it on his latest article that you should go check out on XFL News Hub, this really, my friends, is the kickoff of the XFL. The other stuff was great and everything, but now that we have cities, this is the kickoff. So hang out tomorrow. We'll have more news. Check us out live. Subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button and hit subscribe. Subscribe to this channel because we are the #1 source of XFL news in the universe. There is the universe, and then there's XFL News Hub. We have a staff that was all throughout the showcases. Mike Mitchell, XFL Insider. Myself, been doing this since 2018, following the XFL, so it's a lot of fun. We got a lot of knowledge, a lot of great people putting in a lot of work and spending a lot of their own money to do it. So I appreciate you guys for checking in. Make sure you follow all the guys. Follow us all on social media stuff. That's it for me, folks. Until tomorrow, I will see you all later.